Hearing no one else, this is Dennis. I will move to adopt the legal action report and meeting minutes of Wednesday. That's the wrong one, isn't it? It is August.
No, September.
Say October 17th. So
September 7th.
September 17th. Let me say again, Wednesday, September 17th, 2025.
Okay, second.
Jeff Hamstra, second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. So our next item, we've already done the August 20th, right? So we need to approve the revised middle housing amendment. Clarify the 6-foot separation only applies to stacked dwelling units without grade floor. Make a motion.
Oh, okay, this is Ken Cawthorn. I move to approve the revised middle housing amendments.
Okay, do we have a second?
Jeff Hamstra, second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, something we need to approve. Strike the words customer-owned service conductors.
This is Dennis. I will move to approve to strike the words customer-owned service conductors from section C 405.11 of the 2018 IECC. Is that correct? 2018? It should say 2024.
2024.
2024 IECC.
Yes.
Okay, do we have a second?
This is Ken, I second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Yeah, so we got another. Well, haven't we approved the August 20th? Item 4 here. So we need to approve the May 21st minutes.
Correct. On August 20th, there was a motion to approve the minutes from May,
Okay,
but our August 20th meeting was invalidated. So,
but we need to approve the minutes from
May.
May.
And we,
Okay,
Jeff Hamstra, I move that we approve the May 21st, 2025 minutes as written.
I have a second.
any discussion? All in favor?
aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. And then we have another one for the approval of the middle housing amendments for both the IBC and IRC.
Spread Knapp, I approve. I make a motion to approve housing amendments for both the IBC and the IRC.
Okay, do we have a second?
Jeff Hamstra, I second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Our item 5, committee discussion on building codes and related items. So maybe we start like with you kind of giving us an update of where everything is in the process.
certainly I'd be happy to. This is Clayton with the City of Tucson. So we have 2 upcoming mayor and council agenda items before the end of the year. One is for the middle housing amendments that you've just verified the committee supports. These will be going before mayor and council for their consideration to amend the IBC and IRC. One point of clarification, just so for the record, if approved, these amendments to the IBC and IRC would allow 3 and 4 family dwellings to be constructed under the IRC anywhere in the city. And so that's what will be before mayor and council. They will also concurrently be looking at zoning amendments to the City of Tucson zoning code to define where those middle housing units could be built beyond by right zoning. So keep in mind, higher density zoning parcels with sufficient acreage would allow small multifamily anyway, but they are also considering portions around the downtown area to allow middle housing, AKA small multifamily in low density residential zones. So those two items related to middle housing will be coming Mayor and Council here in the very near future. And then we will also have a separate item for Mayor and Council's consideration of the 2024 International Energy Conservation Code. So your amendment package as approved by the committee is moving forward. But ultimately it's up to Mayor and Council to decide whether to, adopt the code as you've recommended amendments for. So those things will be happening before the end of the year. And so we're looking forward to getting additional direction from our elected body.
Dan?
Yeah, this is Dan with Pima County. Just to follow up on Clayton. Obviously, we will not be moving forward with the middle housing at this time, as we have not been mandated to do that. We will be moving forward with the adoption process of the 2024 International Energy Conservation Code. Probably will be based on the Mayor and Council's decision, but our goal would be to take it to the county's planning and commission meeting in January and then onto the Board of Supervisors in February or March. Probably more March because of the time to go from one meeting to the other. But the intent would be that they would still be effective on July 1st of 2026.
Okay, so have you already adopted or passed the rest of the building codes?
Yes, we did. We passed them in July.
Okay. So the way it works is you can't adopt anything until the city does, correct?
Because it is a nationally recognized code, state law does allow us to adopt before the city does.
Okay.
But typically, we always let the city adopt first, and then we move forward. Typically, we go to P&Z at the same time they're going to mayor and council, and then we go to the board of supervisors after that. In this case, because of not knowing what's going to happen with the energy codes, if there were changes that the mayor and council would like, we didn't want to take it to P&Z until we knew for sure there were no changes.
Okay.
So this is Ken. I just was curious then, when would it be possible then to notify people doing the programming for ComCheck about the amendments?
This is Clayton. So for the city of Tucson, it would be immediately following the mayor and council action item, because the agenda item before mayor and council is a potential adoption. They have the ability to adopt the code right then and there at the meeting with the amendment package as stated, or it is possible that they could, have other amendments that they adopt on the fly, or they could send the code back to this body for additional consideration. Perhaps, if they want additional amendments for you to consider, they might send that back to you. So we will know, the night of the mayor and council meeting. And just also to clarify, the memo sent to mayor and council accompanying that adoption recommendation from you has a recommended implementation date of July 1, 2026. So, and that also could be changed by mayor and council. That's the recommendation that we've extended.
So the other thing I know that we have outstanding is the grading issue. I'm not sure if we decided that we had to do anything or not on that.
This is Clayton with the city, just as a follow-up, following the last committee meeting with this body that heard the recommendations for the grading. It was decided that there was no action necessary because there's no building codes that would need to be modified to accommodate their request. So they were not requesting to adjust the minimum grade away from foundations. They were looking at adjusting the pad grade from from the highest point to the lowest point, not in relation to a building foundation. So there are additional conversations occurring on that topic, but I think it's moved away from the building code committee's consideration simply because it's not a modification of a building code.
Okay. We're getting to the end here.
I just have a question on the mayor and council consideration of our committee work. If the council members or mayor has questions, we should be able to discuss with them and offer our logic on why decisions were made on amendments. And I don't know if there's a process for that or anything.
This is Clayton. We would be honored if you would attend the meeting in case they do have questions on the case, but that is the opportunity for them to give us direction if they want additional information or clarification.
When is the meeting?
I will make sure to distribute that. We need to make sure that we've got the correct items agendized and everything. So we will send out a notification as soon as it gets formally agendized.
So that's going to study session?
No, this will be on a regular session.
Okay.
Is that the city's building over there?
Correct. It'll be at City Hall.
Yeah.
Most likely after 5:30 p.m.
Is that the one that you enter from the east?
North now.
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be the
Get
regular
in from
council
the east now?
chambers.
They're in the right. The doors on this side.
They
Okay. Oops. Do we have any items? I had an item, but I didn't get my stuff in time, so I don't know if I can bring it up or not regarding the stolen stamps.
Is it related to building codes?
Related to stamp drawings.
Okay.
Okay. So. You guys probably all know who Ed Marley is over at Swaim.
Yep.
Yep. Well, he's president in CAR this year. So he sent me an email. I'll pass this around. There is a problem with people selling stamps online.
Oh, boy.
Yes, and it's a major problem.
Wow.
So I can pass that down to those at the end. So yeah, website called Fiverr or something like that. Fiverr.
Wow.
And they're offering to sell stamps for projects.
Wow.
It just came to my attention because I review complaints to the tech board. And so I unregistered, went to this website and got engineering stamps on some drawings. It's just like a little inadequate, but he got the stamp. I think he paid like $250 to get the stamp.
Holy cow.
And this was a restaurant with a Black One hood, so.
Wow.
So one of the problems is that if anybody that has an Adobe, a full Adobe program or Bluebeam or something, you can take a PDF image and actually take a snapshot of the stamp and signature and pop it in another set of drawings.
Edit it, everything.
You can, yeah, you can edit it.
Even if it's the, what is it, the digital signature? You can do that too, because you could create it as a JPEG or whatever you want to, and then you can manipulate it however you want.
Yeah.
I don't know how do you solve that?
Well, I was thinking about this. Years ago, they had a problem with people using contractors' licenses. So the city started sending out email when someone said, ABC contractor has pulled a permit. They emailed the contractor that they had on file. And so if they didn't actually pull the permit, they had an opportunity to step in. That's the only thing I can think of. But it has to be what the city or county has on file, not what the applicant tells them.
So this is Clayton. It is rather unfortunate. We deal with quite a bit of fraud. In fact, the fraud that we have dealt with over the past 2 decades has motivated some of the controls that we currently have in our permit software. Some folks find the process that we've created somewhat tedious and or repetitive, and yet it is actually intended to reduce fraud. So a couple of examples on the contractor side. Each user applying for a permit or associated with a permit has to have a user ID, a specific user ID with our system. And then they are uniquely attached and identified to every project. So now any contractor can see every permit that they're associated with, whereas previously they could be named on a permit without being notified. That user account control helps everyone understand exactly who's associated with the project and who is not. This helps with both registrant fraud and contractor fraud. Another example is the control that we have over approved plan sets. So someone could put a fraudulent stamp on a plan set, but that doesn't mean it's going to get implemented onto our public record. So our inspectors are pulling up digital copies of the plans that we have processed and pushed forward. That fraudulent stamp wouldn't make it through our system and make it to public records. So if they had a roll of plans on a job site, they could have a fraudulent stamp on that, but our inspectors are using digital plan sets to verify the accuracy.
The stamp you mean is the approval of the development services. And that's the stamp you're referring to.
Correct. And unfortunately, it is also true that we screen a number of fraudulent registrant stamps. So in the past 10 years, I've seen people use stamps from registrants who have been deceased for many years. I've seen people modify registrant stamps to change the name. So the name is not consistent with the license number. We've seen a number of things. So our plan review staff, as they're going through drawings, and again, we do also hear complaints that we're too picky on our registrant stamps, that the date isn't inside the stamp, it's below the stamp. And why are we requiring the date to be inside the stamp? Well, that's what the Board of Technical Registration says. The Board of Technical Registration has specific standards for the size of the stamp, and they give images that only show the date inside the stamp. So if the date's outside the stamp, we're not going to take it because that's not what the Board of Technical Registration has posted. And we're checking those license numbers. We're checking for any open complaints on either registrants or contractors to make sure that they're in good active status before we advance either the associated contractor or the licensed registrant. So I don't know that there's anything that we can do to completely eliminate fraud, but it is something that the city is very sensitive to, and we actively take steps on a weekly basis to try and prevent.
It helps that this is a smaller community. While we're doing plans, that this set of plans came in with Ken's stamp on it, that would have been a big red flag because it was really substandard for what, legitimate engineers.
But it could have, there's registrants all over the world that have an Arizona seal.
Well, that's what I mean.
That's the problem.
Yeah, but because you see your project.
Right. That's
But
true.
if you submit Phoenix or Flagstaff, they're not familiar with.
Correct, right?
Right? That's the problem.
Yeah.
So does the county have any,
Well, we have a
Safeguard?
similar, check that the city does. It's not maybe as robust, but we do verify, the contractor or the registrant's license number with this, Board of, Technical Registrants or the, Registrar of Contractors to ensure if that license expires and they don't let us know, we do not issue or, start an application or anything until we know that license is
So-
current.
are you requiring a contractor's license before you issue the permit like the city does?
No, right now, on commercial projects, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Not on
Not on
residential, yeah. But that's part of the information they provide when they set up their account in the, our permitting system, if they're a licensed registrant or, contractor, they need to include the license number, and then at that point, if it's the same person, they can put in their registrants or contractor's license number, and it auto-populates the correct applicant information into the record.
Somebody can do that fraudulently, right?
Well,
So they could submit that information posing as,
yes, they can.
because, our license number is public information.
Yeah, no, understand.
So it's the contractors.
Yep.
So anybody can pull it off of, they can pull his license number off the side of his truck, right?
Because everybody was doing it, we weren't doing anything.
Oh,
They were saying this truck ran me off the road or
oh,
they go for the biggest wallets sometimes.
The best one I had was, got a call from a lady says, your guy just rear-ended me at Grant and Campbell. And little did they know I have a GPS system, so I pull my computer up and I go, I have a vehicle headed north on, so can you hold please? And I get on the phone and call the technician in that truck, the only one in the area headed north. And I said, did you just go through Campbell and Grant? Yep. I said, where are you at? He says, I'm almost to Fort Lowell. I said, there's some Walgreens, pull in that parking lot. And I'm gonna have a lady says you rear-ended her meet you in the parking lot. And so I said, he's pulling over, we're gonna meet you. I'm headed for my office and he's gonna pull over in the parking lot, in the Walgreens parking lot. We'll see you. I'll be there in 15 minutes. He's sitting there now waiting for you. Click. Yeah. And so if I didn't have a GPS system, on my vehicles, it would have been, a precarious situation.
I would think the issue with local, especially on the professional registrant side. Yeah, I mean, the local people and repeated applications, your plan reviewers recognize the work and what things look like. So that would be relatively easy for you to find, but you get out of town submissions that come in and it's somebody you've never heard of before, never will hear of again, but they apparently have a legitimate stamp and all that. And that probably needs stronger scrutiny. I'm aware of at least one incident where we got a call, I think from Dan Santa Cruz, saying that something didn't look right on a plan he was reviewing. And I think it was actually Mr. McGettrick's seal that someone else had copied and put on a plan that we didn't prepare. And Dan recognized that and said, is this yours? And looked into it and no, it wasn't our job.
And some of the ones we've seen on plans, I mean, obviously, like everything, they're getting better and better, but it was easy to tell that, hey, this isn't correct from what we've seen
Right.
from the registrant in the past, so.
Yeah, so something local is pretty easy. If and you know, even digital seals are, people can copy them. There's nothing stopping somebody from creating their own digital seal of somebody with somebody else's number, and if they want, they could even scan and copy that signature and put it on there. So I don't know.
They don't even need to do that, because you go to the tech board and it tells you this is what the steel looks
Right.
like.
Right,
You fill it out, you put your name in there, you make up a number. Done.
well, you could use a number that already exists.
Yeah.
And that way there's no fun,
I mean, it's-
and use that person's name. And I just don't know how you ever
Well, maybe we need to go up to old school.
West Seal.
Oh, in Boston, yeah. I've got one of those that was my dad's in Michigan.
Yeah,
So this is Clayton again. Just circling back to, the methods of control, we are certainly open and interested in any suggestions we can that anybody has that can improve our system. But going back to the user account, every registrant that stamps a plan on a city project is a user assigned to the permit. So there's a certain responsibility that's also on the registrants to look at the activities on their dashboard, right? If they are not involved, and this actually happens quite a bit. We get correspondence from both contractors and registrants that say, hey, this permit is on my user account, but I'm not associated with it. And then we take the appropriate actions. So, we don't have the bandwidth or capacity to communicate with every professional that's associated with every project to verify, but, by attaching them to the permits, it'll show up on their own individual dashboards.
well, this seems like a two-tier problem. One is you guys can filter and try and catch that stuff, but stuff's gonna slip through. I mean, the other is, we probably need to go to the Attorney General's office so that they're aggressive and prosecuting. Florida has done that. The Attorney General is going after those people and issuing serious fines. So,
They're probably people that don't have anything much anyways, and that's why they're doing that, right? So.
no, but it does send a message.
It does, right?
It does send a message.
But they get at least jail time and make it a serious
Because
offense.
that's identity theft.
Right, it is.
So maybe the engineering group should lobby the Attorney General's office. Would be an option.
Based on Ed's letter, I will say that I know our office did get contacted by an individual claiming to have registration in all 50 states and be available in case we were doing work out of and needed a registrant stamp.
They're out there, they're selling. This guy bought an engineering stamp for a restaurant for $250 or something.
Yeah, it's a real health and safety issue there.
That is. Yeah, but they had a Type 1 hood, that's fairly sophisticated stuff. Not Richmond to do. Okay, and I don't know what the other municipalities are doing, Sahuarita or Valley. I assume they're fairly similar. to
I would
County does.
imagine they're very similar. I mean, they all have electronic permitting systems where you need an account to apply for a permit, I believe. So,
Okay, well, I want to bring this up because it's a national issue. ICC is even involved in the discussions with NCARB and everybody's trying to figure out what to do about it because it's, in this day and age, it's so easy to steal a stamp and signature number. It's no good. I don't know if the state just doesn't publish your registration number or I'm not sure that's gonna work either. So the city
Yeah,
can.
Well, like now, I mean, anybody can log on to Tucson Pro and actually see a set of plans.
Yeah.
That's got all the registration stamps on it. It's got the city approval stamps on it and
Yeah.
and it's got the plans of the building. And admittedly, I use that all the time.
All the time.
And it's a great resource to have for the legitimate purposes that I'm using it for. But yeah, I mean, if I had a building that had a security system in it or something, maybe I wouldn't want those plans out available for everybody to see.
Yeah, well, when they issue the permit, it's public information, correct? Right? So you can't hide it. I guess in
Correct.
certain instances where you have a high security issue, you can do that, but not typical building plans. Yeah, it's a problem.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to keep their eyes open. Problem's gonna be when you submit to a city you don't usually submit to. Or somebody submits in your name.
Yeah, the problem's gonna be when somebody files a complaint.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
In
That'll
this
trigger.
case, the restaurant happened to catch it. I don't know,
Right.
the reviewer called the restaurant and said, hey,
Right.
this doesn't look right.
Yeah.
That's usually the case.
So it's one thing if somebody steals my stamp, puts it on their own drawings, which I didn't prepare, then they submit it to Tucson. That might actually get caught by these
Right.
guys.
Right.
But if they submit it to Flagstaff or someplace else where I don't regularly work, how are they gonna know?
Yeah,
Right.
or Stafford.
Yeah,
You-
any place
Yeah,
else.
one of these small places, yeah.
Right.
And you walk in.
Even
there,
Phoenix, I mean, I
Even
don't do very much work in
Yeah.
Phoenix. They don't know me
Yeah.
from anybody.
Right.
Down there.
Yeah,
It's a
20
problem.
jurisdictions
It's
on
like
there.
I was down there.
So it's a problem. So just want to make everybody aware that this is going on, so.
Yeah.
You know, and the plan reviewers, you know, the city's got a some
So-
new reviewers, so they're not familiar with all the restaurants doing work in the city.
I know some jurisdictions are doing things like the digital seals and how they need to be set up. But anybody could set up their own digital seal, and anybody, therefore it still could be copied and forged, right? It's almost easier to do it digitally because, so there is, I don't think that makes it any safer. Yeah. On
No.
those requirements, yeah,
It would have to be biometrically tied to you,
right.
for all that you can do it, but still, there's ways around it, I'm sure.
Right.
Well,
They just-
figure out a way around it.
Just create a new
There are
one.
plans you gotta prick your finger.
Yeah.
But
I don't wanna go back to the old days though, where you have to wet
Wet
seal
seal,
everything. That
right.
should be a real pain.
every street.
We had special tape, you had massive tables set up and
Oh,
you'd
yeah.
have to take breaks, because if you got 100 sheets, you gotta sign.
Cramping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, same for the city and county, have to stamp each.
Well, yeah, and we would always have to do 2 copies.
Right,
Right.
right.
Okay,
The one good thing though, that kept people from revising their plans.
Then, yeah,
Nowadays, it can never do a project one time. It always gets changed 3 times afterwards more.
yes.
easy to change now, right?
Okay. So do we have any other building code related items to discuss? Hearing none? We'll have to call to the audience. We have some people online here. Anybody online have anything to contribute? Don't see any hands going up.
No hands and no chat at the moment.
Okay. Go on to item 7.
This is Dennis.
Yes.
I move we adjourn.
Do we have a second?
Jeff Amster, I second.
All approved? Yeah.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're done. It's gotta be a record
That
time.
is record.
I gotta get back
No
to the
internet
mill.
coach, right?
So I don't know what our next meeting is gonna be. It depends on